feel the heat just, it's just coming off of there, okay? When I add this fat, it might need to go really, really quick, so I want to be ready to drop that meat at a moment's notice, okay? Once I get that meat going, I'm going to pull it on out and I'm going to place it on a plate. So let me grab a plate. So it's going to go right here when it's done. And while it's laying on that plate, I'm going to start making a pan sauce with a little bit of wine, some mushrooms. I'm going to work a little mushroom into this. In fact, that'll be before the wine. And then I'm going to work in a little bit of broth. So it's going like so. A little bit of this broth and a little bit of this really, really dark broth, which is demi-glace. This is the short rib liquid from the other day. And it is fabulous, okay? See how there's a lot of body to it? It's fabulous. And then over here, I've got some butter to finish. A word about the butter, guys. That butter is cold. It's not hot. It's not warm. This is going to be an emulsion that you're looking at here at the end. When I get that butter in there, it's called mounting. Okay. When I get the butter in there, it's like doing an emulsion, and I need that butter to go in slow. If you've ever made mayonnaise or hollandaise, you know that you need to add the fat slowly. And so we have these butter chips really, really cold, so they melt slowly into it. It's not like you're putting hot butter into a hot liquid and it instantly goes in. It'll break your sauce. Okay, so cold butter for this. This is called mounting or monte au beurre at the end. We're going into saute right now. I've got everything I need. My pan is hot. I'm going to start out with a little bit of oil, and then we are going to get searing. Okay, buckle in. Now that pan's been hot, and I'm putting in a goodly amount of fat here. Okay, probably about a tablespoon or so. Let me get a little closer. Okay. You can see that there is smoke rising off of the surface of this. So I'm going to start laying in my scallopinis right now. And you can hear that sizzle. If you don't hear sizzle, pull the meat out. Get it hot. Pull it out. I can barely get all the meat in there without crowding. So you should be cranked right now, and I want you to notice I am not touching that pan right now. This is where it's very, very tempting, if you will, very tempting to poke it and prod it and do your little saute thing where it's flipping in the air, right? Saute is supposed to catch air. Leave it alone. We're trying to develop golden brown here, some GBD, golden brown delicious. And so we're stepping away from the meat and we're letting it develop color on one side. I'm going to do most of the cooking on one side here. I see some loves going up, right? Yeah, that's exactly how we do searing. Let me get that camera back down there. I'm trying to crank my pilaf. I still haven't touched it, okay? We're developing color on the underside. If you like, I can show it to you, but that's all I'm going to do. Now, I can kind of roll it around and kind of let that fat kind of bathe the pieces. You can see a little bit of golden brown on that guy. I am not satisfied. Wiping as we go. I'm feeling good. We're getting color. I'll take another look at this guy. Hey, by the way, if you don't have that smoking hot pan, this stuff's going to be sticking. One of the things, I didn't say anything at the time, but when I laid it in there, I gave it one tiny little shake just to make sure nothing was sticking, right? If that pan's not hot enough, if it's not sizzling, it's just your food's going to glue to that pan. Get it out of there. Get the pan smoking hot, and then go for it. It's got to be making all this noise, or it ain't going to work for you. We're sauteing. I'm going to flip them now. I got some pretty decent color over on the other side. Whoa. That guy's my little French piece or my butterfly piece. Are you kidding me? Look at that color. It's beautiful. Look at that. Right? Ain't nothing wrong with that. The more golden brown, the more GBD you get. Golden brown delicious, the more flavor you're going to get out of the end piece. The more of that golden brown that sticks to your pan, the better it's going to be at the end when you have that finished sauce, right? If you like, you can tilt the pan and baste. Basting. We're basting. Basting from the top. Whoops, get out of there, buddy. You guys get the idea, right? Basting. You never let it dry out. I got my landing zone right here. My LZ. I got my pilaf cranking. Come on, baby. Come on, baby. And these little medallions, again, they're about a 1/2 inch thick. I don't want to get them to where they're well done. They're about medium right now. I'm just kind of poking them. And so these smaller pieces, I'm going to go ahead and pull them. I don't want to lay them on top of each other because then they get steam. I want that crust to stay. By the way, GBD, that's what I'm talking about, both sides. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Okay, now before I get into a deglaze here, I'm going to add a second step to this saute here. Now, saute could go a lot of different directions. It could be shallots going in right now. I'm just going to work a little bit of mushroom in this thing. Real simple, but it just gives you that idea of, hey, I can take this other directions here. It can go a million different ways at this point. I could be sauteing little meerkat livers or something. Now, those mushrooms just soaked up most of the fat, so I'm going to work a little more fat in there. Anytime your pan is looking dry, you need to get some more fat in there. It looks like this. It's looking dry. And there's some crusty bits in the bottom here. Oh man. Mushrooms soak up a lot of fat. So you see me tossing it around. I'm going to spread them out, and I'm going to step away from the fungus, okay? Again, I want to get that color on these guys. If you just kind of sweat a mushroom, it comes out all gray and kind of washed out and acidic feeling, and it's like it's just swimming in its own fetid juices, okay? If you get a sear on a mushroom, it's like mushroom times 10. It tastes like the $6 million mushroom man, if you will, okay? Seared mushrooms. So it's all the difference, people. While these guys are searing, I'm moving things, cleaning up, cleaning as I go. I got my little wooden spoon back here. And I am stirring my mushrooms, flipping them over, half of them kind of tossing. Let me get that camera. Half of them tossing and half of them moving with my spoon. I'm spreading them out, flipping them over, getting some color. Some of them are very nicely colored, if I may say. Giving me a little warm fuzzies just looking at them. Oh, it's going to be good. We're getting there, we're getting there. Little musical interlude. And I think what I'm going to do now is I've got some beautiful color on these mushrooms. I'm going to hit it with a little bit of my Sauvignon Blanc. When I do that, I like to pull it away from the fire. That way I don't get such a big flame up. Now that was my first deglaze, and what it did is it melted all the little brown crusty bits that were stuck to my pan that we call the fond, okay? This is basically the foundation of our sauce, our future sauce here. As this is going, I mentioned before, I want to cook this down to resin basically, okay? It needs to be really, really thick. So this pan is going to get completely dry. We call this au sec. That's what I'm looking for next. That liquid's almost gone. It doesn't taste anything like the wine that I originally put in there. How's it going, Chef? Good to see you, Taka. Thanks for coming, man. Okay, so that was my first deglaze, and now it's completely dry in there. I'm going with my next deglaze. Let me grab a little ladle here. I don't feel right unless I have my ladle, okay? So I got a little stock here, and I'm hitting my pan with just some stock. As a saute guy, I always have stock on the line to get me through the night. I have to adjust these little pan sauces all the time. And so I can't really do my job unless I have stock on the line. It's like trying to be a saute cook without oil on your line either. You can't do it, right? And so I've got my stock in there, and I also am gonna add a little bit of my extra stuff that I got from those short ribs the other day. This is the golden stuff right here. $1 million an ounce right there. Beautiful. And so you may be able to see that I've just kind of blended all those liquids together. And now I'm reducing that down. When we're reducing, we're evaporating the water out. It's concentrating flavors, but it's also concentrating the consistency of it, if that's a thing, right? It's making it thicker. What's making it thicker is gelatin present in these stocks and broths and sauces that I've been simmering over the last couple of weeks with you guys, right? And so this is what we're looking at. It's getting thicker and thicker as it goes. Right now the bubbles are very, very tiny. They're the size of a BB basically. As they get bigger and as this liquid gets thicker, you're going to see the bubbles get bigger and bigger. They're going to get to about the size of a dime or so, and then I know I've got a pretty thick sauce happening here. Again, it's gelatin working its way into it. I've still got my pork tenderloin. There's juice there. I'm going to add that to my mix here. That's all part of the saute. Oh, it's going to be good. I'm adding some whole parsley leaves to my vegetable over here. It's kind of like salad almost going in there. I'll work those in a second. This plate's going to come together whether I got pilaf or not. And my sauce is still rolling. No worries there. Huh. I'm kicking up my pilaf here. We might just make it. It's a little wet, so I am letting that liquid reduce off of there. You can see my sauce is starting to get a little thicker. Bubbles are starting to get bigger. They're about 3 times the size of a BB right now. Very important. I'm going to be working some butter in the final stage of this sauce. As I work that butter in, I can't have this sauce reduced too much. In other words, you need to have some liquid in there for the fat to go in, okay? If this is simmered down to like pancake syrup, your butter won't go into it. I've got a little stock here, so if I over-reduce this, in fact, I think I will. Look, oh no, chef, I'm over-reducing this. What do I do? It's getting a little thick. Yeah, actually, this is where I would want to go with my butter, but let me over-reduce it. I'll show you this. I can take it down too much. As we're sauteing, guys, we got about 5-8 pans going at one time. I'm always over-reducing something. All I got to do is just readjust it, okay? So it's getting a little thick here to where I can't even work the butter into it. Look in the center there. It's like globby. All you got to do is hit it with a little broth. Takes you 1 second, maybe another little drop. And then it's like, oh no, chef, I put too much liquid in now. Hey, all you got to do is reduce it out again, okay? You can go back and forth like that all night long if you have to. The important thing is the entire process is about adjusting consistency and the flavor of it, the seasoning. Don't forget the clear consommé. I got students throwing out stuff out there. This is awesome. Okay, so what I'm going to do next is I'm going to mount butter into this, and then we're just going to, I'm going to return my meat to the sauce. I think I'll do that right now, and then I'm just going to mount butter in, okay?